Hello, hello. Oh, sorry about that. I was had to get some stuff ready. Also, hello, Draftkey and Philima. Welcome, welcome. I have some good news. Um, so as some of you might know, I did sorry, I did break my foot about 3 months ago, about like in September. But since then, I've got surgery. I've been getting more used to walking around, and tomorrow I will actually be able to walk around freely. I have to use a boot, but I'll be able to walk around freely, so that's pretty good. That's pretty epic, I would say. But yeah, time to continue. I could walk before with partial weight bearing, but I couldn't. I had to use a walker. So, that's pretty good. I didn't know this lore. Yeah, your boy got caught in a bear trap, we'll say, and messed its leg up pretty good. Where did we leave off last time? We left off. We just finished Takano's backstory, I believe. I don't know if we'd get more of her backstory, but it was like near the end. It was like cut back to reality, and we came back to Takano having like a PTSD trip of her time when she got caught trying to escape the orphanage. But yeah, that is where we left off last time. Okay.
はい。バンケットより後方。スピーチあと一人で乾杯に入ります。
Also, hello,
準備で
Golden.
きてるね。後方 OK です。
Alright, so we got to the orphanage at least. Yeah.
内部全然聞こえないんで、スピーチが終わるタイミングでコールをお願いします。いいかい。角田にビールは10本ずつだよ。ちゃんと自分の縄張りにスムーズに運んでね。
Yeah. But hope everyone else is doing okay. I've had a pretty decent day. Basically was just grinding on Pokemon some, grinding up some Pokemon for raids. I grinded up Iron Valiant to 100. I grinded up my Iron Hands to 100. I grinded up my Goldengo some. Not done much besides that. And I did a couple raids and all that good stuff. I had to leave during last stream, that's why. Last thing I remember was an argument with Golden over who was God. Yeah, don't worry. The conclusion was, that Golden's always wrong and I'm always right, so don't worry about that. Clearly talking, oh, true. Young hotel workers dressed smartly in bow ties pulled bottle after bottle out of the beer cases preparing for the toast. Why are you lying to I am not lying. I have never told a lie. I'm like Honest Abe, but I'm Honest Mochi. They waited for their cue to serve the drinks while listening through the intercom. Why? Nah. At a normal party, they could put bottles of beer on the table ahead of time. But if there was a lecture before the party, then they couldn't. Listen, Golden, you're gonna keep talking that mess until Joaquin comes in. Dude, Joaquin freaking toasted you yesterday. And you can't even act like he didn't. That was funny. Oh, man. Oh, there you go. It's not hard to toast white bread. Guests don't mind sushi going dry due to a long speech. But they don't like seeing their tables get wet with condensation from the bottles of beer. And more than anything, they certainly don't want to drink warm beer. In my opinion, you shouldn't want to drink any kind of beer, because beer sucks. Beer is cringe. I tried to drink beer one time, and it tasted like sewage. Rika getting hammered again. You know who else doesn't like their sushi going dry? Ark's mom! Ark's not even here and I'm roasting him. However, there's always a speech before a roast. I do toast! I have roast on the mind. I have roast on the mind that I wrote toast. Red toast is roast. I can't. I need to stop. I need to stop. I need to get out of Twitter.com mode. and usually a long one. Damn, at least you got my reference. No, you can't. Oh yeah, you can't pass a Muscle Man reference past me. Especially at a big party like this, there are lots of guests that give speeches, so it's extremely difficult to know when to serve. I wonder what your thoughts be on the Takano chapter? Hey, if it's anywhere as godly as Mommy Takano is in general, I'm sorry. Especially at a big party like this, there are lots of guests that give speeches, so it's extremely difficult to know when to serve. For that reason, the bottles end up sitting outside by the banquet room. Ark is somewhere minding his own business right now, wondering what just burnt him. Ark sneezing somewhere. Hey man. It's not my fault his mom is so interested in me. I ain't do nothing, alright? That's just the mochi appeal. And people end up drinking warm beer anyway. There were several dozen tables with white tablecloths on them in the banquet room. Approximately 8 people were sitting at each table, so there were at least a few hundred people in the room. The banquet room was filled with excitement. Mochi, you are honey today? I'm honey? I'm sorry? I'm not terribly sure what that means. Oh, horny. The appeal of the golden god. So, listen. It's the Takano effect, alright, man? I'm not horny, okay? I'm not, no horn today. Alright. There were many plates with many different kinds of food on each table. A sushi platter, a sashimi platter, a fruit platter. Also along the wall, there were cooks ready to serve fresh sashimi. Horny, honey, tomato, potato. Watch out, Ark. Mochi about to Dennis. System Nobody's mom is safe from Mochi, the MILF expert. Raises anime glasses. Fool. MILF Hunter Mochi, exactly. All the guests appeared to be well-mannered gentlemen, and were clearly notable people in various different fields. I will send this to your FBI agent. No, Joaquin, please. No problem, Golden. Hope you have a good day at work, or at least not a terrible one. I think not having a terrible day at work is always a win. The huge and beautiful chandelier above them clearly indicated that this hotel held a status good enough for these famous people. An elderly gentleman was giving a lengthy speech on the stage before making a toast. Usually, people don't like such long speeches, especially if it's before a toast. You're with the organization. But the guest occasionally shouted, "Yes, yes!" You know who else shouted yes? Yes, Ark's mom, sorry. And sometimes gave him loud applause, filling the room with their fervor. Well, maybe fervor was a pleasant way to put it. It was probably more accurate to say their excitement was bizarre. Mochi's FBI agent talking to Mochi. Dad, do you know anything about this? Dad! Local bear that streams is arrested and sent to prison for 1 million years. Oh, Lord. That's gonna happen one day. Someone's going to catch me slipping up for whatever reason. I don't know what it is yet, but it'll be for something. Oh, no voice. Which country would actually teach people not to show respect towards their own flag? There are no others. It's happening only in Japan. That's right, that's right. Oh. Prison warden talking to Mochi. Dad, what are you doing here? Chat, what is everyone's favorite ice cream? Favorite ice cream? I like cookie dough. I like cookie dough ice cream. Alright. I'm on a reference roll today. True. Oreo cookie? Ooh. Daddy dough ice cream. Oh no, Golden's gonna yell at me again because they're talking about politics today. Listen, Golden, I didn't. That's the game. That's not me, bro. To know ourselves, to know our culture, to understand our history and our country itself. Those are the things that make you realize that you are a Japanese citizen, that make you understand the part you play as a citizen of this country. And the feeling you get from that is love towards your own country. It's not Mochi Stream without debating daddy politics. True. No one said mint chocolate disappoint. Well, I like mint chocolate, Golden. It's not my favorite, but I do like it. I don't hate mint chocolate. I actually really like it. It's just not my favorite. Just cookie dough is better, in my opinion, of course. However, those anti-Japan teachers are proclaiming that it's militaristic brainwashing. Higurashi is very political, that's true. Golden about to go L5 Hime syndrome. Golden's been L5 for a while, man. Chat, where does mint chocolate ice cream rank on your scale? And the lie detector determined that was a lie. Mint chocolate's about like... I'd say it's like an 8. I don't want to give it a 9. I'd say it's like an 8. Like, I really like mint chocolate, but I wouldn't go above an 8. Those stupid claims are wrong. What are those people doing anyway? They're teaching our children to hate being Japanese. They're the ones brainwashing them with this self-destructive education. They're teaching our children that Japan should be ashamed of itself, and that they should be ashamed of being Japanese. Forget who you are, and deny your country. That's what they're teaching them. These innocent children listen and believe such nonsense. Let's be honest here, whoever thought Higurashi would be political... I don't know, when anything's political, it's kind of like a jump scare to me. I kind of like do a double take, I'm like... oh. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into like a topic about politics or religion or whatever, because I'll be honest, your boy doesn't care. Your boy just straight up doesn't care. Of course they do. They go to school to learn things, right? If the teachers teach them that, of course the children believe it. Can you believe such corruption exists? So that's why they don't have voice lines? Oh, I see. That makes sense. We must do something about this country's education now, no matter what it takes. The sound of applause filled the banquet room. All the gentlemen agreed and expressed that they felt the same way by cheering him on. After that, a gentleman wearing a cloth sash approached the stage. The hall welcomed him onto the stage with another round of thunderous applause. Turns out the story about kids going crazy murdering each other is actually about shadowy organizations pulling political stunts. Yeah. I think when stories go like down a political route, it's 50-50 on if it'll be good or not. Because here's the thing. When you make your story politically driven, you're immediately ostracizing somebody no matter who it is or what it's about. Because there's always going to be someone that disagrees with you no matter what your politics are. And then you're going to be ostracizing another group that really just doesn't care about politics. But I do think politics and stories can be interesting if it's done right. But you've got to keep in mind, you're immediately ostracizing people if you put politics into your story. That's the important thing to realize. But if you want to write your story with whatever you want, then put whatever you want in it, in my opinion. It's just you have to realize that you're immediately ostracizing a certain audience if you do decide to go down that route. So that's why it's risky, in my opinion. All of the non-voice text is from the original visual novel. I see. No. No. You know, valid argument, Draftkey. Valid argument. Draftkey's right. The hall welcomed him onto the stage with another round of thunderous applause. A rousing theme from a popular drama series played as he took the stage, but it was entirely unnecessary before the overwhelming applause. The man's sash carried his name, written in large letters, along with the name of the prefecture he was running for office in. True that, to be fair on rereads, it took me a while that politics and history was a part of the story all the way from chapter 1. Yeah. Let me introduce to you a patriot. XXXX-kun. This man has served the former governor as his right-hand man as a director of the office of the governor for many years, supporting the prefecture's government for a long time. Since the previous governor has decided to retire, he was appointed as his next governor. Unfortunately, we have those anti-Japan teachers in our prefecture. While they proclaim freedom of education and freedom of thought, they're shamelessly forcing an anti-Japan education down on our children. Sorry, I just took a burp there. They don't teach real history. They teach our children that everything was Japan's fault. They don't even mention the true purpose of the greater East Asia prosperity sphere, or all those who fought to save Asian people from Western control. They don't even talk about how many Asian countries were actually Western colonies before Japan stood up for our freedom during the war. Our country has recovered amazingly since then. Yet our children don't know any of that, because those teachers don't teach them. How truly, truly sad. I can't stand the fact that those anti-Japan teachers are actually teaching our children alongside the teachers who take teaching seriously. They are insulting our educational institutions. This is Rika's fault. Man, everything's Rika's fault, Draftkey. I mean, at least she's trying to fix it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a possibility that we get a happy ending this chapter. And if we do get a chapter where... If we do get a happy ending this chapter, then technically it would be Rika, it would be due to Rika. But this is Higurashi, so there is never a happy ending, so I'm not expecting one. Like on first read, it seems weird that they mentioned the state of the school or village in general has been like that since the war. Yeah. Teachy teachers do be teaching. Teachy TV. Anybody remember that from Pokemon? Yeah. Oh, right, I already read that. I will become a governor and get rid of those teachers. I will straighten out our education system and make sure our children will grow up to be decent young people who can carry on Japan's future. He, XXXX-kun, announces his candidacy for the next year's prefectural governorship. Rika couldn't give a shit about solving the politics. True. I mean, this Keiichi talking. I mean, who does care, honestly? We appreciate your support for him. I promise I will straighten out Japan's educational system. Thank you for your support. Again, the banquet room filled with applause. The man was receiving a standing ovation. I need to explain a bit about this banquet before you misunderstand. Ryukishi, I don't mean to doubt your writing abilities, but do you need to explain this? I'm not entirely sure. It wasn't the conference of a political association or a lecture by a political candidate. It was hard to believe, but this is nothing more than a meeting of a college's alumni association. Tokyo can burn to the ground for all she cares. Tokyo, yeah. I mean, it can be so confusing sometimes when they bring up Tokyo, because you're like, are they talking about the city or the organization? I just assume that they're talking about the organization anytime they bring it up anymore. Everyone should be familiar with what those are. Whether it's elementary school, junior high school, or college. Once you graduate from one of those, you normally belong to an organization of alumni. You receive invitations for reunions where you enjoy talking about the good old days. However, there are many different types of such organizations. Some are simple and some are united with much tighter bonds. And once an organization becomes united with those tight bonds, it's no longer a simple organization of alumni. Rather, it becomes a significant faction known as Alma Mater Clique. Tokyo is the Illuminati confirmed. I mean, how many stories out there have like a quote-unquote Illuminati type group in them? There's so many if you think about it. In Japanese society, it's traditional for graduates to form tighter bonds that go beyond the level of an organization. Also, the more superior the alma mater, the stronger that tendency holds true. The Imperial University, one of the best universities in the country, is famous for the deep bonds it graduates form. Steins Gate does as well. I see. Why do superior people like to bond? It may be because they take pride in being superior. But more than that, maintaining connections is the most significant reason. All Imperial University graduates are elites in their respective fields. Or the SCIADV franchise that SG is a part of in the general, actually. I see. Well, I thought Steins Gate was like I thought Steins Gate was like the franchise, but apparently I'm wrong. They're likely to succeed and become important people. When they do, the unity of their alumni association gains immeasurable meaning. In fact, even today, the Imperial University graduates maintain their tight academic clique, and they hold great influence throughout many different fields. It's called Universe. Science adventure. I see. They interact with other universities as well, so the graduates' bonds are extremely tight even today. Additionally, while Imperial University usually refers to the University of Tokyo, sometimes it's used to mean all 7 major universities in Japan. They are located in Tokyo, Kyoto, Tohoku, Kyushu, Hokkaido, Osaka, and Nagoya. They are all great schools. Robotic Notes, Chaos Head, and Steins Gate all take place in the same universe. Oh, I gotcha. That's surprising. Kind of like, how the Cyberpunk game and the Cyberpunk anime, although they're different stories, they just take place in the same universe, kind of like that. There happens to be an organization of alumni that includes all the 7 universities. The elderly gentlemen in this banquet room were each from one of those organizations. However, not every graduate would get an invitation here automatically. Steins Gate can be considered its own franchise, to be fair, but it's actually a part of the Science Adventure series. Gotcha. It's a society of select gentlemen, and in order to become a member, one must first fulfill several conditions. such as recommendation from an existing member, contribution to the society, possession of status, and so forth. Therefore, all the members are important people from different fields, and obviously the power of this organization is of a political nature. But there's one more very important criterion one has to meet to join. Strong patriotism, a heart that longs to contribute to Japan and its rebirth. As a result, this organization has become extremely nationalistic. Up on the stage, the candidate for the prefectural governorship was still talking passionately. I was drying my throat out. And among those elderly gentlemen in the crowd, Takano can be found. Hey now, Takano is no elderly gentleman. Takano seemed used to this kind of conference, and seemed unsurprised at anything that was said. But at the same time, she looked rather fed up with it. Yo, mommy Takano, based as usual, bro. Based as usual. Me too, Takano. As she was in attendance, she must have been one of their members, which meant she possessed not only an extremely academic background, but that the elder gentleman here had acknowledged her equivalent contributions to society, and that she possessed strong patriotism. However, her academic background was the only qualification she had met to join. I get that politics is a very important element, but I'll be honest, it does get boring sometimes. Yeah, here's my thing. I have a friend that it's like IRL friend that's like extremely political. I won't get too much into it, but like it's like the only thing he ever talks about, and I just like anytime he starts bringing it up, my brain just shuts off, and I just tune out everything he says. I'm just not a huge fan of listening to politics in general. It just makes me uncomfortable, you know what I mean? She was only able to join as a special case because of her connections. Do they have L5? That dude very well might have L5. You're not even wrong on that, dude. He probably does have L5 at this point. She didn't even hold prejudiced ideas like the other members did. There's no other explanation true. So, why was she here today? Probably because of the same reason as the man giving a speech up on stage. The man on the stage didn't actually have prejudiced ideas, much like Takano. He only prepared a speech that he knew the guests would like. Politicians only want votes. Each and every person has a vote, but appealing to each one of them takes too long. So the most efficient way is to appeal to organizations with a unified idea and a unified will. In other words, this man was giving this speech so he can garner support from those powerful people. The elderly gentlemen in the banquet room will then do their best to support him since he appears to share their ideals. They can offer many different kinds of expediency, support, and assistance. To an outrageous degree, I might add. If the day's events continued in the same way, the organization would likely decide to officially support him. They will probably give him a great deal of financial aid. They'll assist him in different ways as well. Of course, the man on the stage won't be the only one gaining something. When he wins the election and becomes a governor next year, the organization will welcome the governor as a new member and gain even more political influence. I'd be fine if Ryukishi wrote about the politics that are relevant to Takano's involvement. Yeah. I do like that he snuck into, like, meanwhile Takano's just like, bro, I don't even care about none of this, I don't even want to be here. And eventually the organization will become so powerful that nobody can ignore it. Those of you reading this right now probably get the sense that they're no mere Illuminati association. I just want to talk in no bunny girls maid side story. True. Can we just get a Takano route? Can we just get a Takano route? That's what I want, man. You'd be absolutely right. After reaching this level, they were a fine syndicate. No, they would be a secret society if the group wasn't so open about its activities. Now, I'm sure some of you readers are brushing this off, thinking there's no way such a suspicious organization could exist in Japan. I'm brushing it off for a very different reason, Ryukishi. I'm glad that you're trying to address it. It still can be respected that Ryukishi is willing to put in so much detail and history within his world-building and politics. Yeah. It just doesn't personally appeal to me, is the thing. Like, it's good that he puts in, like, the ability to world build and stuff like that. It just doesn't appeal to me. But everything I've explained is entirely true. There are several such influential groups and organizations within our society, and you need to understand that they hold powerful political clout. Bro said clout. Alright, Ryukishi's my man. And influence our national policies. Oh yeah, I forgot to add who won the Super Bowl that year. Ryu is lacking. Bro's lacking. That's an L, right? That's an L for that, bro. Some are alma mater cliques like the one I've described above. Others are scientific societies serving different parties, industrial groups, advisory committees, religious organizations, community service groups, and so forth. If Ryukishi ever watched my playthrough of his visual novel, he'd probably think I was one of his dumbest readers that he's ever had. He's like, oh my god, he's not catching anything. And you know what? He wouldn't be wrong. Also, there are right wings and left wings, the hawk and the dove. I won't go listing their specific names here. Yet you've probably read them every now and then in your average newspaper. Yeah, sure. In Japan, the terms for such forces aren't very common. Most of you readers probably think of a suspicious organization wearing white hoods when you hear the phrase secret society and laugh it off. I don't know if white hoods was the best analogy to go for there. But unfortunately, that's a huge mistake. In America, where there's far more territory and citizens, there's way more groups like that. Dang it, Rika. And they possess such vast influence that ignoring them is impossible. So the terms they use for such forces doesn't apply to those on the scale of the syndicate. Sometimes people say that such groups have more power than the White House, and they are referred to as the shadow government. Even here in Japan, we had a shadow government before the war, our Zaibatsu. After we lost the war, the GHQ dismantled those blocks, but 40 years have passed since then. You know, something I found out, I think it was like last month or like a couple weeks ago or something. But there's like actual like political streams on Twitch where people will just stream themselves talk about politics. It's not for me, but I saw that, I'm like, that just sounds depressing. It just sounds depressing to have a whole stream revolving around that. Not throwing shade or anything, I feel like my vibe would be so down if my whole stream was based around that. There's no guarantee our country hasn't given birth to another shadow government, given how good we are at collusion, groundwork, and backroom deals. Mio Takano was, in fact, attending a conference of such a shadow government. It does sound depressing, yeah. I need an anime where cat girls discuss serious politics. Here's where you make it even more interesting, Draft Key. There can be no middlemen. They're extreme. The cat girls have to be extreme on either side. They all have to be extremist. No goofs, just cute cats passionate about being a senator or something. Senator Armstrong? Hold on. Don't F with this senator. Oh my god, are we actually gonna stare at oh my god. A background reappeared. It might appear to be a guest house at a huge golf course. There were no golfers inside, but by appearances, that must be it. But appearances can be deceiving. This wasn't a golf course, but a huge backyard. Imagine a cat girl Rika debating climate change. Oh god. The guest house was, in fact, a very stylish mansion. Normal people would be surprised to learn that this was a private residence. Ooh, new background. Weirdly enough, I feel like if I lived in a house like this, I'd always feel uncomfortable. Because it's too, like, neat and tidy. And, like, fancy for me. I'd always feel on edge. Is that weird to say? I don't know. I feel like that's weird to say, but that's, like, my opinion about, like, a big fancy house like this. If there were ever going to be a story to get me interested in politics, that would be it. True. The interior of the building was as lavish as the exterior. Needs more bear traps. Hey man, you trying to get me killed? There are beautiful carpets on every floor. Expensive looking decorations on the wall, and expensive looking bottles of alcohol on the shelves. That's the kind of room Takano was in. There was a knock at the door, and an old man in a wheelchair and a young woman pushing it entered. As Takano stood up to bow, the old man stopped her by raising his right hand.
畳んでも久しぶりだのいつでも遊びに来なさいと言っとるのに
そのお言葉だけで光栄ですわ、小泉先生。
The old man sat down on the sofa with assistance from the woman. He was very old. That old dude was so old. He was so old you could see the dust coming from his breath. He was so old. My name is Takano Mio. Welcome to Jackass. Oh no. Welcome to Jackass. Today we're going to be killing an entire village. Looks like a background that would fit right in Umineko. Oh, that's another work by Ryukishi. I might read that eventually. His face was covered in wrinkles, and he could hardly do anything on his own. Even so, he still held a great deal of power and influence.
相変わらずお盛んですわね。首筋、口紅がついておりますわよ。
Hey yo? Hey yo? My man's getting it. If you like a more fantastical mystery, then Umineko is the one for you. I see. Probably wouldn't read it on stream, but definitely would consider picking it up.
それ本当かね
My man's cracking 100 and he's still getting that business.
やれやれこれはお恥ずかしいの
Respect, respect. There was no lipstick on his neck. Oh, well, never mind. The woman who was helping him with his wheelchair was too beautiful to be a mere helper, so Takano has expected something. Oh, never mind. I got trolled twice. The characters are basically identical to Rika and Toko? Umineko is way too long unless you're willing to go 10 hours. Yeah, no. No. Believe it or not, there are some visual novels that I would prefer to read by myself. I don't know. I do like streaming stuff, but there is some stuff that I like experiencing on my own. Because I feel more comfortable watching it by myself. And I'm a lot, I don't have to worry about, like, my reactions or anything when I'm by myself. I don't know if that's, I don't know if that makes sense. But it feels more comfortable and I can enjoy it more or something like that. Dang, no e-rogue streams. Hey man, you took that way out of context. That's not what I meant. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but like... I heard that Umineko's length is compared to the Bible. I don't know why, but that's funny to me. And you've seen how big of a physical copy of the Bible itself is? Yeah. As someone that's grown up in a Christian family, I do know that. As it turned out, her guess was correct. Although he was so old that oh my god, they will not. They will not let this guy go. He's so old. He's so old. He's gonna die. He's so old. Oh my god. Look, he's crumbling. Forget Thanos needing to snap him. My man's already dead. Damn, Ryukishi, take it easy on the old man. He's so old. His first birthday was the first birthday. He could die the next day. He wanted to stay sexually active until the very end. Chad move, Chad move. Even the Grim Reaper would think that's just absurd. My man's still making moves. Ryukishi's next line. The man is so old he was already turning to dust right now.
いつまでも小さいと思っとったらいつの間にの
ご冗談を。本当にそう思われていたら私のお尻を撫でようなんてなさいませんわ。
My man! My man can't. For the love of God, Mochi, stop roasting him. He's already dead. True. My man is getting it. But let me be clear. Sexual harassment is not pog. It is very unchadly like. That's actual low tier behavior. Do not sexually harass anybody.
おい先短い年寄りに触らせても減るもんではないに。
And this guy is very low tier for trying to sexually harass someone and trying to brush it off.
私よりももっと柔らかいお尻を散々撫でておいでのくせに。
Takano pulls out a 45 and domes him. The man is a goat. He already senses how crazy Takano is, and we all know how good crazy puss is. Philomar, you gotta stop, bro. Or sorry, Ruben. Sorry, you gotta stop, Ruben. God, Takano's mommy. I'm sorry. Sorry, I just had to bring that one back. True. Takano and the old man enjoyed a tasteless conversation. They had clearly known each other a long time and were very close. The young woman came back in to serve tea. After she left, the old man started to speak.
しかし
The Takashi. Oh my god, Takashi!
みおちゃんは本当に立派な子だの。高野くんもこれほど立派に育ってくれて、きっとあの世で鼻高々だろうな。
Oh my god, Draft be saying what everybody thinking. How could you say something so controversial yet so brave?
そうであればいいのですが、祖父の偉業には私など足元にも及びません。
高野くんもいろいろと運がなかった。時代にも恵まれんかった。もし何もない時代に研究をしておったなら。
Me too, Ruben.
あんたに引き継がせることもなく見事研究を完成させておっただろうの。
ですが、そういう時代だったからこそ。皮肉にも祖父はひなみ沢症候群の存在に気づくことができました。
Oh, no voice. The world today is in the nuclear era, with America and the Soviet Union glaring at each other over mounds of nuclear stockpiles. takes nukes to have authority as a major power. Yet we've forever abandoned our nukes thanks to our 3 anti-nuclear principles. In this age, we are now a nation without nukes. Ah, yes, the Soviet Union. Watch it, Golden. Watch it. How deplorable. In the middle of the 20th century, despite rising tensions between East and West, there was a temporary peace known as the Cold War, brought by a balance of nuclear weapons pointed at one another. Permanent memberships in the United Nations were monopolized by nations with nuclear arms. They secured their predominance with nuclear weapons, bound the world with nuclear non-proliferation treaties, eternally banning non-nuclear nations from the world stage. For Japan to become a nation that can compete with the world, it must develop nuclear arms or something as powerful. That's what some people believed, at least. Realistically, Japan will never arm itself with nuclear weapons. I know. The citizens wouldn't accept it. Even if the government ignored their opinions and armed itself with nuclear weapons, it wouldn't work. By abandoning nuclear weaponry, Japan gained the deterrent power of the United States. I don't even want to know what you just said, Golden. Damn, what kind of peace is that one created by pointing weapons at each other? I'm not. That's political. That's politic related. I'm not even gonna touch that. Oh my God, Golden. Though some people thought the only way for Japan to become equal to the United States would be to get nuclear arms of their own. But realistically, that was impossible. Even if Japan armed itself with nuclear weapons, that wouldn't automatically let Japan join the great powers. That's Code Geass levels of ridiculous politics and peace. I've not watched Code Geass, but a lot of my friends say that it's super, super good. Joaquin's back for round 2 with Golden. Golden getting roasted again. God dang Golden. Can't get a W if he tried. Takano and the old man discussed the balance of nuclear power in the world. Eventually, the sound of the cuckoo clock reminded them to return to the main subject at hand. It is NNN after all. It won't be NNN at 3 hours and 2 minutes. And in about 3 hours and 2 minutes, you'll be safe. The old man pointed to the attached case that had been sitting next to Takano. Takano nodded once, opened it up, and removed the contents. Then it's destroyed Dick December. Code Geass is entertaining, but it can be over the top to be taken seriously. Okay. Nah, time for No Nut December. That doesn't even make sense, Colton. Who's still holding strong though, chat? Who's still holding strong? Who's on the verge of winning? Load the nut. There were brand new bills packed in it. How much was actually in there? I'm nutting right now. Oh my God, Drake. Snut me. Bro's multitasking. A bundle of brand new million-yen bills is 1 centimeter, so there must have been at least enough to make up 8 digits. I failed long ago. Anyone here could have answers? I'll be honest with you, bro. I failed on the first day. And I've failed every day since then. So, yeah. I had no chance. There were also 2 more attached cases by her side. However, neither Takano nor the old man were surprised at all. It's cool, I could just put it back. You can't just put it back, man. I can still finish it. Oh, God. Takano closed the attached case and bowed.
ありがとうございます、先生。このご恩は忘れません。
金は人生の長い若者が持つべきだの。
I thought he said monkey there for a second. You know, speaking about monkeys, I know chimpanzees aren't monkeys, but they're in the same category for me. Golden, have you ever had to work with chimpanzees? The Fallen Brothers place our trust in you.
年寄りがあの世まで持っていくもんじゃない。金はあるだけものを言うが、現金はさらにものを言う。
What the F is a chimpanzee? It's like a monkey, but it's got no tail. It's not a gorilla. It's like a monkey, but it's got no tail. One like equals... I have not. That actually surprises me. I was gonna ask you if you've ever been personally traumatized by a chimpanzee, but I guess the answer is no then. What happened to Chimpan Y? Jesus, man. Draft key with the puns. I can't. Golden, that's suicidal.
大事に使いなさい。
もちろんですわ。祖父の夢を実現するためだけに使います。
高野くんが羨ましいの。良いお孫さんを持たれた。きっとあの世であんたを自慢しているだろうの。
まだ自慢されるようなことは何もしていません。祖父の研究を完成させた時初めて、私は祖父に褒めてもらえる資格が得られるのだと思います。
I'll risk it. Are you ever willing to work with chimpanzees, Golden?
本当に羨ましい。うちのせがれたちは全然ダメだ。
Do it, just do it.
金儲けのことしか頭にない。
Hey, how much you want to bet Koizumi's boys are the Paul brothers? Don't let your dreams be memes.
金は儲けてからが大切なんだ。
If I get the opportunity. You sure, Golden? I'm sure you know more about chimpanzees than me, and from what I've seen about chimpanzees, that's asking for nothing but trouble.
その儲けた金でお国のために何を貢献できるかが大切なんだ。それこそが今日まで自分を育んでくれたお国へのご恩返しっちゅうもんなんだがの。
So what's your... Chimpanzees are masters in nutting at terminal velocity. That's cursed, Draft Key. That is cursed. Never say that in my presence again. That will be an immediate ban if you say that again. Oh my god. Oh, that's cursed, man. Jesus Christ. That is L5. That's peak L5 right there. Y'all be wildin' sometimes, I can't.
たくさんの恋人たちに気前よくおごるのもお国へのご恩返しなんですの。
お
もちろんだと思う。
based quiz me.
あいつらが買い物をすれば金は巡ってお国に戻る。金は天下の回り物だ。
He spoke the truth and they shunned him for it. However, those lovers would probably end up buying some foreign goods. Things probably don't work quite the way this old man thinks they do. Takano chuckled to herself. What is he, Jesus Christ?
だが女どもにばらまく金とミオちゃんに託す金は意味が全く違う。
存じております。
みおちゃんは今日までよく頑張ってきた。礼を尽くし、大勢の人たちの信用と支持を取り付けた。今だから話すが、春山くんも望月くんも最初は君のことを若すぎると批判的だったんだがね。
They put me in the they put me in the game, bro. I've made it. Yeah. I gave you the good word and you stabbed me in the back like chimpanzee Judas. I know, okay, DraftKings, that's cool and all, that's cool. I mean, I'm gonna let you finish, but they just put me in the game. Wow! Talking was stepped up with the political game.
だから私もみおちゃんのその努力を認めて、その金を託すんだ。はい。そしてな、その金を私が託すつうことはの。
Few years later, she causes genocide. Makes sense. Oh, there's Soldier. Hello, Soldier. I haven't seen you in a bit. Hope you've been well, friend.
私がみおちゃんを高野くんの研究の正式な後継者だと認めたということなんだ。
They denied her bill to fit all the plot holes. Oh, the potholes. Sorry, I thought you said plot holes there for a second. So she denied their right to live. I mean, okay. Chat. Listen. Would you rather have all of the residents of Hinamizawa be healthy and safe, or mommy Takano in your lap? Okay.
ありがとうございます。私ごと若輩に委ねてくださったことに深く感謝いたします。
いやいや、これは高野くんと
Mommy, of course. See? Based Ruben. Why do I need to have friends who spent $60 on Bugfest 2022 just to evolve a mid Pokemon? I mean, dude, if you don't want the Pokemon, then just don't go through the process to evolve it. I don't know what to tell you, Soldier. I mean, I could help you after stream if you want, man. Hinamizawa, so you choose death. It's like asking, do you want one mommy talking or two? That's not even a question. Oh, man.
彼もみおちゃん以外が引き継ぐことを望まなかっただろうの。
I need the decks though so I can get different colored pixel. Well, I can help you after stream if you DM me and remind me. But if you need it faster, then that can't help you. But I can help you after stream though.
だからみおちゃんがここまで上り詰めたおかげで、他の年寄りたちをより説得しやすかったわけだ。
Alright, yeah, I'll DM you. Thanks. No problem, man.
祖父の完成できなかった研究を私が完成させることだけが私ができる祖父への唯一の恩返しですから。そのために求められる努力ならばいといません。
Takano smiled as she remembered everything she had to go through to get to this point. It went without saying, but the old men around Takano saw her as someone from their grandchildren's generation, or maybe even younger. Just how much trouble did Takano have to endure in order to gain the trust of those with such a large generation gap? It was hard to describe to those who couldn't even imagine her trouble. But Takano earned it. She gathered allies, drove away enemies, garnered support, and forced them to recognize her. She spent a long time establishing trust and rising to a status that the old men would welcome. In the meantime, I guess I'll go collect scattered change people lost. I'll have 9... Wait, what? Oh, you're talking about the Gimmighoul coins? She spent a long time establishing trust and rising to a status that the old men would welcome. Which was all the more reason this meeting was a reward for her many days of hardship. Takano did what Rika didn't, gathered support, true. And that is why Takano is based. Mochi 101. If I ever have a mochi quiz, it's gonna be like, who is in the right, all of Hinamizawa or Takano? And y'all know what the right answer would be. Takano 1, Rika 0. Did someone say Dale's Dimmadome? Doug Dimmadome, Doug Dimmadome. Which was all the more reason this meeting was a reward for her many days of hardship. Now that she officially had a powerful influence backing her, she could spread her wings and see the completion of her grandfather's unfinished research. Sorry, Rika. Sorry, L.
さて、高野君の研究を正式に引き継ぐことになったなら。
Rika, after seeing Takano kill her whole village. Wow, Takano, that's such a Scorpio thing to do. That's so Pisces of you, Takano.
みおちゃんにも話しておかなきゃならんことがある。
Wow.
何でしょう。伺います。
The old man paused and pulled an expensive cigarette from the cigarette holder on the table. It would have been hilarious if she actually said that. Takano lit it up for him. She didn't smoke herself, but knowing that the old man did, she kept a lighter in her pocket. The constant build-up of little gestures like that were how she gained the trust she held the day. I heard like a car in the background of my, car outside my house, and I thought that was like in the game. I don't know why. Takano-kun. Takano-kun noticed the Hinamizawa syndrome in Manchuria, not Japan. Yes. According to my grandfather's journal, around 1940, he learned that many soldiers sent from Hinamizawa to the Kwatung army expressed terminal symptoms, which led to him to surmise that an unknown infectious parasite dwelled in Hinamizawa. Takano did what Rika didn't, was prepared. Takano 2, Rika 0. True. Also, Takano's at a disadvantage if you think about it, because Rika has the power of, time reversal, and she has, the power of, what is essentially a god on her side, and she still can't even beat Takano. Takano 3, Rika 0, L, plus ratio. Under the harsh conditions of war, people sometimes lost their mind. In those conditions, those who were sent to a far-off battlefield from Hinamizawa spent their days under duress, and occasionally they exhibited terminal symptoms, hallucinated, and caused twisted incidents. Takano 3, Rika 0 indeed. L plus 5. I can't draft. Bro, you did it. Oh. L plus level 5. Yet that all occurred in the extensive chaos of the battlefield. Every incident was handled separately, and no one suspected there was an underlying cause.
当時高野君は軍医少佐として海外に派兵されていて、現地の貿易研究所で各種伝染病の予防対策について研究していた。そんな中で偶然、いくつかの錯乱事件がすべて同じ出身地の兵士によって起こされていることを知った。高野君はHinamizawa出身者に特有の症状ではないかと仮定し、個人的にこの研究を始めたのだ。そしてHinamizawa出身の兵士を研究所勤務にして集め、いろいろと調査した。そしてHinamizawa独特のお社様信仰の存在を知り、特異な性質を持つ未知の疾病の存在を確信したのだ。
It's interesting creating this strange mental disease and having it appear during war. That's true. And you have to think about all the effort that it takes to develop your own unique, mental disease and all the symptoms and what it comes with. and like its own name and all its own lore and backstory, where it originated from and how it affects people, their symptoms, and how people live with it. I think that's pretty neat. I can't tell if they're saying that it's caused by parasites or not, though. I'm kind of lost on that. I think they are saying it's caused by parasites, but that could just be something that develops in them. Some may wonder how he could be so certain that these symptoms were caused by unusual parasites. Well, there you go. There you go. At the beginning of the 20th century, German doctors proved that some unknown diseases were caused by bacteria and parasites. At the time, it wasn't too far of a jump to assume that unknown pathogens could be behind unknown diseases. For instance, in modern times, it's been revealed that it's caused by a pair of lice. I hate you, Draftkey. Draftkey, you are officially the antagonist of this stream. Aside from the ignoble way of suicide and hallucinations, it could be any other form of PTSD. Yeah. PTSD is something that'd be horrifying to be diagnosed with or to even go through at all. For instance, in modern times, it's been revealed that beriberi is caused by vitamin B1 deficiency. But at the start of the 20th century, many loudly proclaimed that it was the work of an unidentified pathogen.
祖父はその研究が軍にとって価値のあるものになるのではないかと予想し、予算を求めましたが、一生に付されたとか。
As a researcher, her grandfather was very talented and passionate, but when it came to gaining the aid of political powers, he just simply struck out. Hinamizawa syndrome. No, the possible existence of a parasite that infected the human brain and controlled emotions. Even though he made the remarkable achievement of discovering a mystery no one had explained before him, he was unable to convince others of that achievement, and spent his life alone, unable to garner support and unable to achieve proper recognition for his achievements. Independent research has its limit. Talented people, funding, and backup. What do you think about the source of craziness being a parasitical disease? I remember watching a podcast where some didn't like it. I just don't like that Golden's gonna, come in here walking all pants tucked up, chest puffed out, and be like, "See, Mochi, I told you it was parasites." Other than that, I don't mind it. I think it's kind of neat. Other than that, I don't mind it. A research project can be successful only if all of those things are present. Takano had noticed her grandfather's mistakes, and that was why she did everything she could to obtain all that.
当時の上層部は即効性でしかも普遍性の高い治療薬を期待していた。
And the word parasite, so you can't say that. You see something like Hanyu, but you translated parasites. True. Very true, Draftkey. Oh man. I mean, think of it this way. At least he didn't go the route of it was all a dream. All of Higurashi was all but a dream. Whoa, the time jumping makes sense. But parasites, those don't exist. No. Oh, Lord. I'd kind of like to see the parasites, an illustration of them drawn by Ryukishi himself. It doesn't have to be, perfect art, but, what the parasites themselves looked like. That'd be kind of neat.
高野君の研究は非常に興味深いものではあっても
They're microscopic Rikus. God almighty.
当時の軍には期待されなかったということだの。
ですが先生は唯一祖父の研究に理解を示してくれたと聞いています。
Oh god. It's already started. Oh god. It's okay. We can just gaslight Golden into thinking he was wrong. Oh. I dropped my charger. I think the podcast was able to accept the time looping as a supernatural thing, but they weren't willing to accept a parasite disease as the reason people were going crazy. Hey man. Here's the thing, man. You can't just be like, that doesn't make sense. Because you didn't write it, dude. Like, obviously, if something, like, doesn't make sense as, like, common sense, like, well, you can't just say 1 + 1 = 3, because it doesn't. But, like, something like the reason behind something is this, you can't just say, like, that doesn't make sense. Did you write the story, dude? Like, yeah. If that's what the solution is, then, like, then that's what it is, dude. And if it's explained well, then I don't mind. And obviously, Higurashi does a good job at explaining things, so I think it's cool. But like, I don't know, like if something is like if something's like explained and it makes sense, then I don't think it's like something that you should be freaking out about. The only exception to that, listen, chat. The only exception to that is it was all a dream writing plot. Because let me tell you something. People that use the conclusion of but it was all a dream, it was all in the head. I don't like those writers. Because that is what's the biggest cop out to me, in my opinion. It was all in the head. I love parasites, that's why I watch Mochi. That's actually so effed up, Golden. That's actually so messed up that I should ban you on the spot, but I won't. Man actually called me a parasite. I want to cry. Diet Pyrsnickle. Oh, Lord. Don't you get mad at me, Golden. You just insulted me to my face. Yeah, that's what I thought.
祖父は先生のことを無二の親友と記していました。
Parasite, more like pair of Sprite. Got him.
高野君とは同郷だった。
To be honest, before the reveal of the HS, Higurashi was well on the path of explaining the madness it was all a dream, a hallucination. It was all made up. It never happened. Banned Golden, he called you a parasite and shouted me out. Well, if he's a parasite, you're the Hidemizawa Syndrome 1 parasite going, ooh, got him. Golden, you just got roasted again, man. You just got roasted again, dude. You can't. Golden out here desperate for a W, man. Higurashi, the schoolgirls contracted parasites after eating each other. The 2 major games you've played have parasites in them. Man.
同じ蕎麦屋を知る人間と遠方の戦地で会えるというのは奇跡的なことだったの。
I miss Roast Golden Day. Can we bring that back? Or is that only allowed 1 day a year?
彼とは年は離れていたが、私たちは固い友情で結ばれていたのだ。
1 day a month? Okay, that's good. I'm good with that. That was yesterday. You must wait until December. Fine.
だから高野君からはよく話をされたの。画期的な研究になるに違いない。本格的な研究のために予算をつけられるよう根回ししてほしいと何度も相談を受けた。
Joaquin said roasted golden is 24/7, 365. Not for some. No. We listen, Golden. Listen, Golden. I'm dragging you. I'm dragging you to the back. We don't do that here. We don't do support Mochi Day. I like the way Ryukishi explained that Hinamizawa syndrome. How to time out somewhat temporary. I like the way Ryukishi explained that Hinamizawa syndrome only skewed the victim's perspective of events. How to time out somewhat forever. Not that they were hallucinating everything as not real. Yeah. Hey, Golden. No, now listen, Golden. I'm watching you, Golden. You don't get to wrongfully punish Joaquin on my watch. I'm like a hawk. I see everything with these big eyes. Watch me, man. Come on now.
祖父の手記にも
Ugh.
先生がいろいろと各方面に掛け合ってくださったことが記
Even
されています。
nasty.
結局祖父の研究が認められることはありませんでしたが、先生だけが理解者でいてくれたことはきっと存命中大きな心の支えになっていたものと思います。
Well, except for Keiichi seeing Mionchi in the hospital, yeah. Turns out a stray chimpanzee with the L5 syringe was just wreaking havoc. Chad, I have an interesting question for you all. What is the scariest animal for you? You're not allowed to say insects because I feel like everybody would say insects. Because insects are my most terrifying animal. Anything besides insects, what is the most terrifying animal for you that you would never want to encounter? Virgin Mud Golden versus Chad Joaquin. Oh, we gotta get that trending, bro. Chad Joaquin indeed. Chad Joaquin indeed. My man speaks to me.
だが結局は何の力にもなれんかった。
A chimpanzee with a gun and a strong sense of justice. Oh god.
だから高野くんにしてやれなかった協力をみおちゃんにするんだ。
It's probably chimpanzees for me too. Dude, if y'all have ever seen if y'all have ever seen any like thing on chimpanzees or anything, it's whew, man, it is terrifying. Probably kangaroo. I haven't seen one in real life, but it just seems like such a random animal that would sock the crap out of you. The thing is, like, the kangaroo wouldn't like sock you per se. It'd more like tear out your insides with the big friggin' claws on its feet. What in God's name was that hill screech? Listen, man, we don't question the sounds that I make. The Western Lowland gorilla is scary. I mean, look at its scientific. I'm gonna do this, but I already know it's a troll. I already know this is a troll. Western Lowland. Man, I'm just wondering what this is gonna say. Scientific name. You're stupid, soldier. You're absolutely stupid. Mountain chickens? What's a mountain chicken? Is that like bigger than a normal chicken, or is it just more aggressive?
みおちゃんに協力するのは高野くんに対する私の罪滅ぼしでもある。
Yeah, that's not more terrifying than what she thinks. Look it up. Alright, let me see. Mountain chicken. Oh, it's a frog. Giant ditch frog. So what does it do? Is it like poisonous? It just looks like a normal frog to me. He's a big frog. Oh my! Oh, you were just trolling me. I hate you, Trap. Out of all people, how did you not know that, Mochi? I knew that was a troll. I knew you were trolling me. Cerdica is the scientific name for a meerkat species. Hey, also, did you know that the manga and anime versions of Higurashi show Takano opening Rika's stomach in detail? They didn't censor that? They didn't censor that at all, Joaquin? Oh my god. I mean, that's kind of base that they didn't censor it, but also at the same time, yeesh. I'm sorry, I'm getting... Well, the anime did censor... Oh, okay. Sorry, I keep getting off track. I'm sorry, chat. They censored the new ones. Oh, gotcha. The manga, on the other hand, though. Y'all think I should check out the manga sometime, maybe? I'd have to find it first, though, which is probably its own adventure. But Blu-rays and DVD aren't censored? Oh, interesting. The original anime didn't show it. Not sure about the manga. Oh, but if I haven't told y'all already, we will be having an anime night in the Discord, where after we finish the visual novel, we will be watching the original anime. So that'll be fun. So y'all can join our voice chat, and y'all can talk to me like personally with your voice, or just use text as normal, and just chat with me while we're watching it. So that's pretty cool. The manga showed her dragging her intestines out of her. Oh, I don't know if I can stomach that. The Gosotsu 2021 anime sequel shows a lot more, though. Oh. That must be very humbling for Ryukishi to see so many people love his work that they're willing to, like, remake it, readapt it so many times. That'd be very humbling for me, especially in the situation he made it in, where it was just him in his basement with, like, a couple of his family helping. Don't watch Gosotsu, they are horrible sequels. Oh, okay. You see Rika get cut in half. Higurashi Go 2020 and Higurashi Sotsu 2021. The old man closed his eyes and paused for a moment. Shortly after that, he looked into the distance and spoke. They aren't that bad. Well, I'm getting mixed responses. They ruined the original visual novels. I might check it out to do like a comparison or something. They're an enjoyable watch if you don't expect much. That's the thing, is like I like to do comparisons. Now, if y'all want to see a truly horrible anime adaptation, look no further than Fruit of Grisaya, because they skip over so much, and it's so depressing, man. Here's the way I put it. If you had never read the Fruit of Grisaya visual novel and you picked it up through the anime, you would have no idea what is going on at all. That's how bad it is. There's sequels, so just pretend they don't exist. Oh, gotcha. So they don't actually, like, readapt the main story. They're just continuations, kind of. They're sequels, okay. Alright. I see. The old man closed his eyes and paused for a moment. Shortly after that, he looked into the distance and spoke. I'm not sure how Ryukishi did for the writing, but it obviously couldn't have been much due to how much they did to disrespect the messages and themes of the original story. Oh my god, y'all are roasting it. Jesus Christ. No, the anime is better because Michiaki got shot. Soldier, you gotta get over that Michiaki hate, man. You hate that man more than anything. They basically trolled people to think that they were remakes. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I probably won't like it that much myself, but I might check it out. Who knows? Have you ever seen Haruhi Suzumiya? Do you know the Endless Eight? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm fairly new to visual novels, to be honest. I love them, but that's kind of like why I decided to stream them, so I can share like a lot of my experience with reading new visual novels with you guys, so y'all can like see me like grow and adapt more to the genre, and I think that's fun. I heard Ryukishi only did the outline, but other than that, yeah, who knows? Mochi, what was the anime slash visual novel you were talking about? Oh, Fruit of Grisaya. It's it's actually the first series of visual novels we did on this channel, and I had already read the original Fruit of Grisaya before streaming it, but I hadn't read the Labyrinth or the Eden of Grisaya. Very good visual novels, very top tier. I would suggest them to anybody if they haven't already read through them. Basically, they follow the plot of this kid named Yuji, active, like, secret super spy agent that goes around, like, killing people for his job, or decapacitating them, whatever, and they basically put him in a school, to, like, have him, because he wants to experience what, like, living a normal life is like, and, there's, like, 5 cute girls you can go down the, routes of. I say 5 cute girls, but if you think Machina as like a girl that is cute or anything, you're very sus. But but besides that, it's very good. It's very good. How do you spell that? Write it in the... Oh, yeah. So you'd watch each week thinking maybe... Let me... The Fruit of Grisaya. If you do end up checking it out, Ruben, I would suggest you go for the uncensored 18+ version. You can get it on Dempasoft. I wouldn't suggest the Steam version because they cut some stuff. You can still get a lot of the enjoyment out of the Steam version. We streamed the Steam version. We had a lot of fun with it. But I would suggest you go through the uncensored version for like the most. And it is, like, mainly in a rogue, so just, if you're not into rogues, keep that in mind. But it's got an amazing story, in my opinion. Alright, let me see what DraftKey said about this. The Endless Eight were 8 episodes of an anime that were exactly the same with minor changes like clothing, and this was for a weekly anime. So you'd watch each week thinking maybe it's different this time, but no, that sounds miserable. I saw a video on YouTube on it about the anime and how terrible it was. Yeah, the anime sucks. The anime's garbage. Like, honestly. Like, don't watch the anime. Don't watch it. Read the visual novel. The visual novel is peak. Very peak. Don't watch the anime. I'm sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. I know y'all probably think that's annoying and just want me to read. I'm sorry. I got into the topic of Fruit of Grisaya and I really wanted to talk about it.
実はな、真実はそうではない。上層部は高野君の発見に少なからず関心を持っていたのだ。
それは初耳です。でもそれならなぜ祖父の研究を認めなかったのですか？
ある事情により、高野君にひなみ沢症候群を研究させたくない都合ができたのだ。
Oh yeah, no, I know that one. Haven't seen it, but I saw clips of the anime on YouTube. It looked cool. Yeah. They adapt some scenes pretty okay, but like, the order of everything is just all over the place, and they skip over so many plot points. Just read the visual novel. It's so much better. It's not nearly as long as Higurashi, but they do have like 3 separate novels. The first one's obviously the best in my opinion, but yeah, I would definitely suggest it. And if you do read it, I would suggest the 18+ uncensored version. What if all L5 did to someone was break the illusion that Rika is a chimpanzee in disguise and you go crazy because no one believes you? True. Rika is actually Caesar from the Planet of the Apes.
その理由は私と一部の高級将校しか知らん。
The scene I remember is where the MZ kills one of the girl's crappy mothers or something. Yeah. That's a bit of a spoiler, so I won't get into it, but yeah.
私を除き全員が他界した今、高野くんの後を継ぐみおちゃんには話しておこうと思う。
研究させたくない都合とは何ですか？
Takano had believed until this day that her grandfather's research was ridiculed by everyone, which was the reason why it had never gained any recognition. Her grandfather had asked the military for funding so he could uncover the secret of Hinamizawa syndrome during the war. But just like the old man said earlier, the military wanted an instant-acting weapon. That was why they weren't interested in his research. I wish Satoko had an arc where all she did was hit the gym and get swole. That reminds me of that meme of Buffski, like Buff Notski, but it's Buff Satoko, Buffco. That's what she had believed. But as it turned out, the military had actually shown an interest after all. Before I go on, I needed to explain about the Kwatung army in Manchuria at the time. Beefco. While the Kwatung army was stationed in Manchuria, opinions were divided on whether to advance our forces north or south. At the time, Japan had troops in Manchuria, but options were divided on advancing north to deter the Soviet Union, or advancing south to expand our territory and secure resources. With the Soviet Union and its predecessor, Russia, being a landlocked, frozen nation, they had long yearned for an ice-free port that wouldn't freeze over in winter. They had made numerous attempts to expand their territory southward, too. Those expansionist policies were said to be a cause for the Russo-Japanese War. In the history books, it said that Japan won the Russo-Japanese War, but it was actually a draw ending in peace signed at the Treaty of Portsmouth. Both sides had simply set aside their spears after mutually exhausting their forces. It wasn't like Russia capitulated and offered a complete surrender. There goes Rika preaching about communism again. Higurashi has violence, but Gosotsu goes overkill with the bloody violence where not only is it laughable, but it underwhelms the themes of trust, asking for help, friendship, etc. of the original. I see it goes like the writers didn't actually read the original story. They just went like, ooh, edgy people killing each other. Let's do that, but overkill. Let's just do that. It's funny when anime girl die in a horrific way. Yeah, that's what I mean. I see girl head go boom, I laugh, me enjoy. But it's worth it for the scene of Satoko rolling around in the dirt. Just imagining Draft Key going up to Satoko and being like, Peter Parker, like, gonna rub some dirt in your eyes. If people thought the anime was edgy, which it wasn't, the sequel tops it, yeah. As a result, the perception of the Russian threat continued to smolder. I am excited to watch the anime, though. I've heard nothing but good things about it. Some people say it's not as good as the visual novel, but most of the time I've heard people say they pretty much like the anime. Later, the Russian Empire was overthrown by a revolution, but Japan was unable to shake the threat that the new Soviet Union would advance south. According to the history books, Japan went south. They signed the Soviet-Japanese Neutrality Pact and abandoned the northern advance. As a result, when the Great Patriotic War began, the Soviet Union was able to respond to pressure on their German front by pouring in their eastern forces. Though the Germans had managed to lay siege to Moscow, the Soviets launched a massive counteroffensive that reversed the tides of war. Even with the Soviet-Japanese Neutrality Pact, the Soviets couldn't tell if Japan would attack them at some point. The original anime is a good time, especially if you watched it during Halloween. Aw, dang. Well, we're most likely... I think we could probably finish this chapter by the end of December. I don't know. Joaquin did say it was the longest one, so who knows. But I'm pretty sure it won't take us like a month to finish it. So we'll probably be watching the Higurashi anime around Christmas time, ironically enough. By the way, if you guys haven't joined the Discord and y'all want to join us for the watching session, you know, go ahead and leave this here. There you go. There's a Discord if you haven't joined already, or if you're interested in joining. The psychological horror is excellent. Nice. I do like me some horror stuff. Although, I will say right now, the horror genre, especially in movies, has been incredibly lacking lately. Incredibly lacking. Oh my god! Oh, I see. Golden, do you want to take care of that? Do you want to slay that thing, Golden? Oh wait, no, Golden's not here actually. Golden's driving. Ban. Trap case, shut up! Almost accidentally banned you too, man. Jesus. You goofball. Oh my goodness. Because of that threat, the Soviets had to leave some forces in the Far East, and they weren't able to devote enough troops to the German front. Dude, the bullets are getting crazier, man. That was like a whole paragraph. The Shion Satoko torture scene got me. It was so hard to watch. Yeah, I don't know if y'all ever heard me talk about it. I've mentioned it a couple times, but that was the only thing that was spoiled for me on Higurashi. Was that Shion torture scene, because it was all over like YouTube of like this top 10 disturbing anime moments and stuff. And that was actually the only thing that was ever spoiled about me for Higurashi, interestingly enough. It's not that interesting, but I always like to bring it up from time to time. Because of that, the Soviets had to leave some forces in the Far East, and they weren't able to devote enough troops to the German front. For starters, the Soviets had forged the Germany-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact too. The torture scene is also how I found the show, yeah. Yet Germany broke the treaty and attacked the Soviet Union. To make matters worse, Japan and Germany have forged a military alliance. With all those factors in play, the Soviets naturally couldn't trust Japan to uphold their neutrality pact. Ironically, the Soviet Union was the one who broke the pact, but I won't go into that now. Exactly. Oh, I don't know if I can say that name. Blank signed the Tripartite Pact because he expected Japan to keep the Soviets' other front in cheek. But ultimately, Japan abandoned the North. With the with the superior German offensive, many supported the idea of waiting and watching it play out. They believed that even if we did advance north, it would be after Germany conquered Moscow. However, that plan was exposed to Sorhe, and the Soviets transferred their heavy tanks from the Far East border to the German front. That was one of the few times in horror ever that disturbed me watching it. Usually those kinds of scenes, which are too edgy to be taken seriously, don't affect me. It depends. It all just depends on how it's handled, the atmosphere, how it fits in the story, if it makes sense, if it comes out of nowhere, the intent behind it. If you get all of those right, it works, but if you mess up on either of those, any of those fronts, it could come off as just like, oh, this is just shock horror and edginess that's put there for no reason. You know what I mean? I think it was, something that traumatized me as a kid was when a certain man that I will not mention by name or by title ever, because I am disgusted that I was ever associated with such a person, took me to a movie when I was like, I want to say like 8 or 10, somewhere in that range. lost the train of thought. It was like a Punisher movie. It was like a live-action Punisher movie, and that like traumatized me, dude. Because I don't know if any of y'all have seen it, but that stuff gets gory, and I was in panic and fear. Obviously, if I watched it today, I'd be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." But back then, it was all I could think of was, what the F did the blue hair girl to do to make the green hair that mad? So I watched. Exactly. The way it was handled was perfect for me. As someone who cared about Satoko and emphasized with Shion's mental instability, it felt hard. Yeah. The secured Germany's defeat at Moscow, and the Germans began seeing a string of defeats starting with the Battle of Kursk. It was a turning point in history, huh? During the Cold War, the Soviet Union was recognized as a global power. I thought that said Kentucky for a second. But at least in 1940, the Kwantung Army didn't think it was a particular threat. Japan had earned a victory with the Russo-Japanese War, and they took the new Soviet Union government lightly, assuming it wouldn't be stable after overthrowing the Russian Empire. That underestimation was corrected after the Nomonhan incident in 1941. Yes, that's a major difference when good writing is there. Yeah. I have been thinking about writing my own story. It's got like more of like an anime plotline, to be honest. And it's more like one of those cheesy stuff where it like tries to push good messages and stuff. But I don't know. I'm not that confident in my writing abilities to fully want to flesh it out, but I think my ideas are pretty... I think it'd be pretty cool. Mochi hair of anime? No. No. Nothing like that. Unfortunately. After several fierce short-term battles with the Soviet Union's advance, mechanized corpses that led to great losses, the Kwantung Army realized that they shouldn't fight the Soviets, and that inclined Japan toward the Soviet-Japanese Neutrality Pact. But at the very least, up until the Nomonhan incident, the Kwantung Army was strongly conscious of the Soviets and divided on advancing north or south. Higurashi has that effect on me too, where I want to do what Ryukishi did by telling a horror story that pushes similar profound themes and messages. Yeah, and I think that's cool. I think, it's obviously not like Higurashi that inspired me to make a story. Probably like One Piece or something is where I'm probably going to draw most of my inspiration from. But I think that, that is how you determine your success as a writer. If you're able to inspire like different generations or just different people from different walks of life to want to create their own story, then I think that is what like the major draw of like I made it. I've become like a successful writer. If you're able to inspire people to do stuff similar to you. I'm gonna make Higurashi 2 Adventures in Space. Dude, I don't know what it is. What is it with so many horror movies back in like, I think it was like the 90s or 80s or something. When they made like a hit film or something, they always had to do like some sequel that was in space. Did anybody else ever notice that? Like there were so many horror sequels where they just like, let's put the killer but put him in space. There was so many, dude. Thanks to that, there were also voices advising caution, suggesting we avoid all-out war with China in order to shore up our forces against the Soviets. Wait, was I still... Oh, no, I wasn't. Okay. But the Sino-Japanese War broke out after the Marco Polo Bridge incident, right? Draft Key, we are already playing Higurashi too. Cause in space, no one can hear you scream. It's so cheesy, man. July 1937. The Japanese and Chinese armies were staring at each other across the Lugo Bridge in Beijing. Adventures in space? It was the middle of the night on July 7th. The Chinese army fired on the Japanese army in training, and they engaged in combat. I'm thinking of spinning a horror with my own cultural elements, just like how most of Higurashi's conflicts are centered on Japanese culture. That's interesting. I would definitely, um, make sure you study on like the mechanics of writing. Or heck, maybe take like some online courses or something, like learning like all there is to like what is important to include in a story, or like you could watch like a lot of reviews by people and see what they find most interesting with stories. I think the most important thing to do beforehand is research, but you could definitely do it, man. With enough inspiration, enough love and passion, you could definitely do it, in my opinion. I'm gonna do Higurashi, but with cavemen. You gotta do it with caveman SpongeBob, dude. Just, it's the same exact story, but you gotta put some caveman SpongeBob in the corner, in like, each scene. I should also point out, for writing purposes, it changes drastically depending on your topic. If you're trying to write a scientific, you need to know the details of that science as well. Yeah, I've studied film and storytelling for 2 years, so I have some understanding. That's good, that's good. Yeah, you don't... The main thing is you just don't want to jump in, like, blind, and because then your writing could come across as, like, fanfic. You know what I mean? This triggered the long Sino-Japanese War. Yes. According to historical records, that incident triggered the Sino-Japanese War, but with opinions divided over advancing north or south, the army was equally divided over a full-scale confrontation with China. No, in fact, we even received orders from General Staff Headquarters to resolve the matter quietly before the incident grew much bigger. So those supporting the northern advance wanted to settle the Battle of Lugo Bridge quietly. He's right, you want to write fanfic. Man, imagine writing fanfic. That is so cringe. I would never write fanfic, ever. I've never done that. That is so cringe. Sweats. So those supporting the northern advance wanted to settle the Battle of Lugo Bridge quietly, insisting that conflict with China was pointless in light of their anti-Soviet strategy. Yeah, well, I want to express these themes and messages. It's important to tell a well-structured story and compelling main story. Yeah. But I mean, if you really want to do it, then and you put a lot of passion into it, then you could definitely do it, man. I just would never expect it to like blow up or anything, because when you put a lot of passion into something, you expect it to blow up. You're setting your expectations too high, because getting self-projects out and about in like the world today is really hard. So just keep that in mind, that it might not immediately blow up, even if you do it. However, those on the mainland supporting the southern advance using this incident as cause to dispatch more troops to China. They enacted hard policies against China, and thus the Marco Polo Bridge incident became the trigger for Japan and China to enter all-out war. After that, in their bitter struggles in the Nomonhan incident, Japan greatly revised their Soviet strategy. They signed the Soviet-Japanese Neutrality Pact and secured the route for their southern advance. The Sino-Japanese War got worse and worse. Dude, my brain is melting. My brain is melting from all these frigging war and politics. So I'll be real honest. You can write anything. I've read a published manga about a guy who nuts in a river creating a fish man hybrid that he raises at his son. Hey, that's base. No, it's not. No, it's not. Hey, man, he wanted to write that story, and he did, okay? He did it. Oh my god, they're still going. If the Marco Polo Bridge incident hadn't happened, it's possible that history would have gone very differently. Maybe we would have ended up in a war with them anyway. However, if the South faction didn't get that chance, the military authorities would have kept restraining the Soviet Union, and the Soviets would have had to divide their forces between East and West. And maybe Germany could have invaded Moscow. Then Japan could have gone to Siberia. The map could have been very different today. Germany wouldn't necessarily have won the war if it had succeeded in taking Moscow. England was keeping its strength on the other side of Dover Strait, after all, and the United States was poised to enter the conflict. Besides, Napoleon once occupied Moscow. But in the end, he couldn't beat their winter and had to withdraw. It is one of those ifs, huh? The Axis might have won the war. The best inspiration for me is to remember that Higurashi also started as a mere one-man, two-crew. Two-man crew, yeah. Yeah, like, stuff like with Higurashi, from what you Chad, have told me, that's like a true success story right there. Yes, it's possible that the gunshot from the Marco Polo Bridge incident changed the tide of history. But I do want to say, I want to say this for anyone that's, like, thinking of writing a story, or, like, thinking of, like, developing, like, a major project. Do not put all your eggs in that basket. I know there's a lot of success stories where people, like, sold their house and stuff to, like, continue, like, a game they were making or something. But they would all tell you that that was a stupid idea to do, and it only barely worked out for them. Do not do that. Go about it smartly, please. Don't put all your eggs in that basket. Treat it as like a side thing. Have your main hustle and then treat it as a side thing. I want to point that out. Because yes, if you put everything into it, it could work. He's right. You need to sell more than your god dang it, man. Oh Lord. It's possible that the gunshot from the Marco Polo Bridge incident changed the tide of history. Both sides had different opinions of who fired that shot, right? According to the Japanese side, a Chinese soldier fired a shot at a Japanese soldier who got too close to the Chinese camp. Even Higurashi only started as a home project that didn't get much sales. Yeah. And I'm sure if you asked Higurashi, the man himself, he would say, don't put all your eggs in that basket. Even he would say that. But if you treat it as a side hustle, but you still treat it as like a hobby and you still put love and passion into it and it gets big, great. However, the Chinese side claimed that the shot was a conspiracy invented by the Japanese military. But the shot was fired. Even though nobody knew who actually pulled the trigger, it sparked the Sino-Japanese War. Yes, that's what the history books say. But Koizumi-sensei, what does that have to do with my grandfather? In the Marco Polo Bridge incident, a shot was fired at a unit that was training in the middle of the night. Everyone was summoned for a roll call. A Nightmare on Elm Street was a project where they put all their eggs in their basket, though. Yeah, but it... I'm just saying it can work. But it's very dangerous to do. I'm just advising against it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like... That's just my opinion. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. How many eggs should I leave out of the basket? maybe one or three. 1 to 3. Leave about 3 eggs. Yeah, I know. I was just saying it can work, but it's all about luck, I guess. Yeah, that's the main thing. It's usually about luck. A shot was fired at a unit that was training in the middle of the night. Everyone was summoned for a roll call. They were missing 1 soldier. The soldier came back later, and it was said that he was sent as a messenger and got too close to the Chinese camp. By the way, did you know that the soldier was from Hinamizawa? Let's see if I can roll a 6 on this first die. Oh, Lord. Oh, no. Man's busting out the Rika strats. Eh? Really? When Takano-kun was talking about Hinamizawa syndrome, he said that soldiers from Hinamizawa could suddenly fall into a deranged state. Rika can't count. And we realized that the soldier from the Marco Polo Bridge incident was in fact from Hinamizawa. Then what about the first shot fired? I don't know the truth, but I think it's possible that a soldier within the terminal stage of Hinamizawa syndrome fired the shot. That soldier was killed in the incident. Since there was no record of it, nobody knows exactly how he died. The Japanese side claimed that the Chinese army had fired at them, and negotiated with that in mind. Just a scant few days after the incident, Japan demanded an apology from the Chinese, and as a show of force, dispatched 3 divisions of reinforcements. The Chinese side was, of course, opposed to that. The situation escalated at once. If research into Hinamizawa syndrome continued, the higher-ups thought it would negatively influence the Japanese army's claims. She retelling information we already know in a different way or conversation. Yeah, we're getting through it though. I imagine we're almost through this conversation. I hope. So in order to avoid the risk of traversing that political gray zone, they rejected Takano-kun's research. Oh my god. Oh, I thought that would never end. Oh my god. We're back. Snap back to reality. Oh my god. Oh no. The war is over now, but there are still some conflicts there regarding historical recognition. No more history lesson.
ひなみざわ症候群の研究が公になれば、社会的な影響が強すぎて、一般大衆に不要の混乱と疑念を与えることにもなりかねない。そう危惧した重鎮たちが、今日に至るまで高野君の研究を黙殺するよう根回しをしておったのは、今だから言える話だ。
Takano, baby, I love you, but I'm gonna kill you if this history lesson doesn't end soon.
私も高野君に協力しないよう長く釘を刺されておった。
Takano tried to remain calm, but she couldn't stop herself from grimacing. She had just found out that the real reason why her grandfather's research had been ignored is because of secret maneuvers by political masterminds. If those masterminds feared it so much, ironically, that meant they acknowledged the importance of his research. Takano was saddened and frustrated to no end by her grandfather's lonely life.
だがそういう連中は高いし、もう当時を知る者は私しかおらん。もし今、まだ高野君が生きていたなら、私はそれを誤って全面的な協力を申し出るつもりだった。だが彼はもういない。だから私はミオちゃんに謝り、高野君にするはずだった協力を君にしようと思っているのだ。
よろしいのですか？私がひなみざわ症候群の研究をすることで蒸し返しになるということはありませんか？
Rika turns to the only person in Hinamizawa she can trust, Eminem. Koizumi, they're dead now, so you can go ahead and do what you want, you know?
もう当時とは時代が違う。それにひなみざわ症候群の研究には単なる風土病では済まされないものが潜んでおる。研究によっては医学の名前がつくあらゆる学会がひっくり返るような大発見になるかもしれん。
当時とはもう風向きが変わったということですわね。
そうだ。不幸にも高野君は風向きが変わるまで存命することができなかった。だが幸いミオちゃんという後継者に研究を託せた。だから私はこの命ある限りミオちゃんの研究を最大限応援する。
Based.
私は高野君に協力を約束したのに、さまざまなしがらみから力になれず彼を失望させた。その償いを命ある限りしていこうと思っている。それが高野君が無二の親友と呼んでくれた私の この世に残された最後の仕事だと思っとる。
I've always wanted to know what would happen if a village or even a major city ever goes public about the disease they carry. Would anyone go there? I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, Fuki, hello. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, Ruben, I would not. There'd probably be some stupid people that would, but I would never.
先生、本当にありがとうございます。
いや、いい。私も死ぬ前に洗いざらいを話せてすっきりした。とにかく私の目が黒いうちはミオちゃんの研究に一切の不自由はさせん。何かあったらいつでも頼りなさい。助力は惜しまないからの。
Takano couldn't even imagine what kind of bond this old man and her grandfather had between them. But thanks to that bond, Takano was able to gain a powerful supporter. Whoa! The brick sound alert doesn't work today. You just got trolled. Tears welled up in Takano's eyes as she gave him an emotional look, but in her mind she was practically dancing at the promise of the old man's full support. The old man and Takano both bowed at the same time to show each other their appreciation. I mean, it's not a death disease, but it's one that affects your mental health and requires a close-knit community that forbids suspicion and secrets. Fine, I'll just go cry now. Wait, Fuki, come back. Come back, Fuki. Yeah, still no, Ruben. Still no. Once that was done... Oh my god, Draft, you kidding, man. Once that was done, the old man became a little more serious. After that far too lengthy preamble, yeah, he finally said what he really wanted to tell her.
そういうことだ。
Oh crap, I just got L5. Oh.
私が言いたいのはつまり、ひなみ沢症候群には歴史すらも作りかねない魔力が宿っているということだ。それは日本社会すらもねじ曲げかねない。そこのところをよく肝に銘じて慎重に研究をしなさい。
Oh, the OST. I'm a wee bit unsober, so I shall lurk. No problem, Fuki. Thank you for stopping by at all. After the proprietor finished serving the food, she bowed and left. The room was very tastefully put together, reminding them of a tea ceremony room. While it was sparsely decorated, quite a bit of money had obviously gone into it. This is a very famous Japanese restaurant where many high-up officials and other important people held secret meetings. Takano was there, accompanied by about 5 gentlemen. She was sitting slightly further away from the men. They were clearly in a much more important position than she was. One of the men, wearing an expensive double-breasted suit, told Takano not to be so nervous. 5? Draft keys balding, bro.
今回の件非常に興味深く読ませていただきました。このような研究が数十年にわたり眠り続けてきたとは。
驚きです。過去に行われていたこの類の研究はほとんどが実らず、スタッフも解散となって何も残っていないと思っておりましたよ。
Oh shoot, it is getting really late. I kind of have to call it right there. I know it's not necessarily like the end of the sub-chapter, but it is getting time for my parents to go to bed, so I cannot... do not have time for that today. So I'm gonna go ahead and end there. Let's see, is there someone we can raid? Ooh, we can go ahead and raid Ark. Yeah, raid. Shoot. Raid. Arcanum. VT. And this is the greatest. Today's comedy special was golden. True. No, we're not doing Raid Shadow Legends anymore. Of all time. Alright, there is the raid message. Oh, sorry. We're gonna go ahead and raid Arcanum VT. I hope you guys had a good time, because I know I did. We're gonna go ahead and end it here. Wait. Shoot. Hold on. I'm trying to type this stupid message. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, so I'll see you guys later. I had a fun stream. See you all next time for Higurashi. Yep. And I'll see you guys next time. Hope everyone has a good one, and bye-bye.
Arthur's a